Hello and welcome to the Creative Jungle podcast. I'm your host Sam.
And I'm Diana.
And we are all about bringing creativity to life and business.
With each episode, we'll be speaking to artists, entrepreneurs, innovators, creatives on how they live creative lives and bring creativity to their business. Let's begin. Today on the podcast, we have a very colourful guest, Emily Canino. She is a proud British Venezuelan and set up Doodle Moo over 5 years ago. It's an award-winning lifestyle brand that makes art, stationery, jewellery, and gifts for playful souls.
Emily creates a world of playfulness through design and typography. David Berry is heavily featured. She's been on Channel 4, Tattoo Fixer on E4, and we're very excited to hear about that. And her creative planner was listed in the top 10 planners for 2020 by Stylist magazine. She also runs her own graphic design studio. Thanks for being on the show, Emily.
Hi, thanks for inviting me, guys. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we're really excited. I can see Emily sat currently in her very colourful workspace with beautiful prints on the wall. Just so that for everyone who has maybe not met you or doesn't know, tell us a little bit about what you currently do and how you got into being a full-time creative.
Yeah, okay. So I run my lifestyle brand, Doodle Moo. Which started with art prints and now it's grown into more of a rounded products like offering stationery, accessories. I make jewellery now. And I'm expanding my product range. And I do graphic design for clients when I can fit it in because it's getting quite busy with my business as well.
Nice.
So and what was the question? How did I start to be creative?
Yeah, how did you start you being a full-time creative?
Yeah, well, so I have always been a creative person and I studied illustration and graphic design. So I was working as a freelance on studios, on magazines, on publications, different projects. And then I had my kids. And then I went back to full-time after my second child. No, after my first was 2. And I did actually work for Evan Cycles in the design department.
Nice.
And that was the first time I actually worked in retail, because before it was always like publications and design. And this is more retail. So we used to work with like the marketing team. And then I got pregnant with my second child, and then I got made redundant 1 week before having to go back to work, which was a little bit disappointing and sad, but it happens to a lot of women, I guess. And then I decided to set up my own thing and I sort of always knew that I wanted to have my own business. And because I was freelance already, I was quite independent. But I also wanted to have something that worked around my kids and something that I really enjoyed and loved. And my dad always said, go for what you love. And so I did.
Yeah,
but it hasn't always been an easy journey though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Had you made much art before you were made redundant? Like, had you been doing things on the side anyway? As in,
yeah. So, since I suppose even before I was setting up websites and trying to figure out what I wanted to create, it was I think I set up 2 websites before that, which weren't that good, or the content wasn't that great, but I think I was searching. And then when Leo was born, we decorated his room with dinosaurs and mountains and things. And then people always commented on them. So we made 2-3 posters based on that. And I used to sell them in like little local markets or mother groups. And then someone asked me to make an alphabet. And then I made a name with letters and drawings.
Yeah.
And so it all started from that. So then that was like the very first things I made like 10 years ago. And then And then I think it was, I had this idea of making stickers for children's rooms. And I think I tried to source them from China. And then I realized someone questioned me on like how to market them and what name would my company have. And then I started to think about all of those things too. And that's where Doodle Moo came from, when I got kind of like thinking about, I had to get a bit more serious with it. But those stickers never happened. So in the end, I dropped the idea and then carried on with my prints and then just evolved them from there.
Nice. And where did the name Doodle Moo come from? What inspired you?
So like me and my husband, we've always been doodlers. As in like we always draw things, little things and little sketches. And when we first were designing the dinosaurs, we both doodled together, and so those images came from a doodle that we made.
Nice.
So that's how, when we were researching for a name, we were like, well, where does it all begin with, and where does it all come from? And it's always a doodle. And then Moo was kind of like the fun element of it, as in like, how can you make it more fun and sound fun? Exactly. So
I love it. Doodle Moo. It's a really lovely name. I really love the brand name.
Thank you. Yeah, lots of people kind of like remember it because
it's very memorable.
Different.
Yeah.
This brings us on nicely to the next part, which is kind of about your creative process. So what is that process like? It sounds like it starts with a doodle, but how do you go from sketching something, and I'm sure you've tons of notebooks with lots of drawings. How do you go from deciding that you want to make that come to life, and what is that process like?
So generally I start with, say, an idea that pops into my head. Then I make a few doodles, and then I think, oh yeah, this could be an idea. So whilst I'm doodling, I'm always imagining it with color and how it could grow into big full image. And I generally like quite bold graphic images. I think it's like my graphic design influence, I guess. So there's always like, when you doodle, there's always like tons of ideas that come, and then you get rid of your kind of cliche ideas, and then you get the best ones and put it. And then I bring it into my computer and stylize it with Illustrator, or I might use the iPad Pro and redraw there. Because I quite like the graphic finish that you see on my posters, which is kind of like a combination of illustration and graphic design and bold colors. So the creative process sometimes it's like, sometimes I might be at the gym doing a class and I'm kind of thinking about ideas at the same time.
Yeah.
Or I'm in the shower and I'm thinking, so if an idea comes in, I just come and do it, come and doodle it. And then, it becomes your final piece.
Sorry, I was just going to say, do you get much feedback during the process, or is it very much when it's done, it's because you're happy with it, rather than asking 10 friends or putting it on social media and saying, hey, which one do you prefer? What's that process like?
There are things that happen easier than others. So there are designs that I'm not 100% sure, so I will leave them to stand for a bit, then I go back a week after, see it with fresh eyes. Or sometimes I do a few versions of it, leave them sitting there. Or I might ask my husband, what do you think about this? Because he's a fine artist and he's got a really good eye. He's a very good illustrator. And so he's like, oh, no, why don't you do this? Why don't you change that? So he does quite a lot of good input. Or occasionally, if I am doubting, I could ask my audience on Instagram. Sometimes I say, what do you like, this, and this? Or I throw it out there to see if it's got a good reception. So sometimes there are things I'm definitely sure and I love them. And then there are things that I'm like, maybe needs to redesign later on when I have more clear heads. Yeah. So there are like lots of different processes. sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
And how did you know you found your style? As in, it is really distinct. And for anybody listening, make sure you go to the Doodle Moo website and Instagram. It's it's really distinct. You can spot it a mile away.
So much pink.
Yeah. How did you know? Like, when did you settle on that? And I'm sure it evolves constantly anyway.
Yeah, I think.
How did you know that, okay, this is what I'm happy doing and this is what I enjoy?
I think it has evolved a bit. And obviously, sometimes you are informed by what's going on around you, the time that we're living. Like, there's a bit of a retro influence, and also my upbringing and growing up in a very colorful country, really bright blue skies all the time. I think that's kind of come back to me as well. I don't know. I don't know if I can pinpoint, but it's just when I make something, I try to say, I think, well, is this really me? Yeah. And that's also something that, you can bring in like slightly different styles or like different illustrations, but it always has to be, I feel like it's a Doodle Moo image, or that's come from me. So I guess you naturally have a style in a way.
Yeah.
And it has evolved as I develop the business as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
Would I be right in saying you get confidence as the business grows almost that your
definitely.
style is right, and then you trust your instinct in future then almost, whereas at the start you're a bit unsure and trying to figure out, do people like this? Is this really my style?
Yeah, that's definitely, yeah. And at the beginning I was very much like, oh my God, will people like this picture? And I used to get really worked up. But now I'm like, if they like it, they like it. If they don't like it, there's always going to be people that don't like what you do and people that love it. So I feel like I've got a bit more confident in that way, that I do like to show it and ask people if, but I don't get caught up on it.
No.
So I am more in tune with what I want to do and what I like, I guess.
Absolutely.
And also, I guess, by running the business for a few years now, I also know what my audience might like, and I do have like 95% women following.
Yeah.
So it's very feminine. Orientated. Although I often think, shall I do more stuff geared for men? But I guess, you gotta do what you feel. And lots of women buy also for their partner. So play together, like in their walls. And so,
Nice.
So, I've got more confident, I guess, on throwing things out there.
Yeah. And seeing what sticks. And with that, like, I like what you were saying about how after when you make something, you go, oh, is this really me? Is that what you think creativity is, like a reflection of yourself? Or what do you think creativity is? What does that mean to you, given you're just naturally, your day-to-day life is full of creativity?
Yeah, I think creativity is, I think it's kind of like a need for making and bringing an idea to life. So I'm always having that need to make something. And, when I designed my mirrors, which were based on some of my images, I was so excited when I made the first one. And like, I just like, like a kid that has seen something for the first time. Yeah. That has seen something that came from a tiny idea in your brain. Yeah. And then grew into like a thing. And so, but creativity with, this, I've always been having that need of like creating something. But now that I have a brand and I have a business and I create my art, I suppose I do think about if I'm staying true to myself and what I want to create now. because I think we have such a influence of images at the moment that sometimes you feel like, oh my God, am I doing this? Is this, you get with all the social media and everything and Pinterest and everything, you still need to think about who is it that you really are.
Yeah.
And are you creating something a little bit different that is you? And that's, so I guess I do think about spontaneity, but also what I feel like is mine.
Yeah.
And doing that twist of, trying to bring something a little bit different that is not done millions and millions of times.
Yeah. Absolutely.
To help with that, I guess, and the reason I mention this is it is so easy to look at other accounts that do similar stuff, and then you can kind of almost subconsciously get potentially a bit influenced. Like, do you consciously not follow loads of accounts that do similar stuff so that you're kind of it's your mind doesn't get muddled by seeing that? Or do you look at them and get inspired by other kind of similar things and bring that into your business as well? Like, how do you manage that? Because it's hard to keep the focus.
Yeah, I think nowadays I try not to look too much at very similar accounts that might be doing similar things, but I do think that sometimes you need to get inspired by what's going on, but like trend-led things, and you can't help but get influenced a bit, I guess. But I always try to say, well, if I'm doing something, what is it? What is it? How can I do it a bit different? How can I stand out from the crowd, or how can I show my personality in my own way? So, for example, through Instagram, it's quite important to establish yourself as someone different because there's so much in there, and so that's why. So I try not to spend too much time like I did at the beginning when I was trying to grow the account. So it's funny because now that I'm much bigger, I'm actually spending less time on Instagram.
Nice.
So, and I try to concentrate more and look within rather than out. But still, I mean, I love going to an exhibition. I just went to Andy Warhol exhibition and I was thinking, oh my God, I love us getting lots of ideas from it. But how do you call it? Reappropriation? Is it appropriation? Something like that in art, where you can get ideas, but you can shape them to be your own.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think there's many original ideas anymore.
No.
For a long, it's never been. It's always been like a recreation of something that exists.
Yeah.
In a different kind of way.
Absolutely. I always hear about kind of original ideas are actually merging two different things together. So you see something that you like, and then you bring your own perspective to it, and you mash it together, and it becomes a quote unquote original idea. It's a new thing, but just influenced by something else. Yeah. You'll always be influenced by other things. Yeah. But just probably not your own competitors, unless it's in a good way. Yes. Yes, exactly. You still
because then you can say, well, what are they not doing? I think when I started doing my jewellery, I was like, I think I was seeing too many people making prints, and I was a bit like, okay, what can I do to be a bit different and bring other things that I love into my brand to establish myself as a different, not just prints, for example. So that's kind of like trying to be a bit different to the rest, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I try.
And how, this is a difficult question to answer possibly, but again, just for people listening, how would you summarize the brand, as in the main colors that you use or the vibe, just so as we speak through different things that it might be helpful? Like if you're explaining to somebody, this is what it looks like, what would you say?
I think I would say bold, colorful, a bit quirky, and fun, playful. I guess what I want is injecting creativity in your home, in your life, with a dose of happiness, positivity as well.
Nice. I love that. Injecting fun, color, creativity into your home with a dose of happiness and positivity. That's great. That's really, really great.
Which kind of brings us nicely to the creative planner, which sounds amazing. I ordered one. I haven't. So
it should be today.
Yeah, if the doorbell rings shortly, it's probably the planner. So thanks.
Here it is.
Yeah, nice.
I guess, if you could tell us about the planner, because it looks really useful for people. And I'm interested to hear as well about some of the creative exercises. You don't need to explain more than one, but if you could tell us about the planner and one of the exercises perhaps for listeners.
Yeah, cool. So I suppose the planner has been one of my biggest projects because I had to make quite a lot of them to make it work. And also every year in January, I was like, okay, I need something to help me plan my life and get organized because I'm a little bit all over the place. So my thing was getting organized. And every time I got a planner, it wasn't actually inspiring or something that I felt like was helping me. So I was like, okay, this year I'm going to make my own planner. And then that was last year, like in May. And then obviously I was thinking, oh my God, I have to do it quick because I have to launch it for when people are actually buying planners. And I had lots of setbacks because I wanted to have it all colorful. So full color printed, beautiful cover, beautiful wrapping. So it was quite a lot. It was quite expensive to produce and, finding the places. But so I thought if I could make something that had content as well as planning pages and as well as inspirational images and exercises, it would help you achieve, a good year with goals and creativity inside and be a bit more like a companion rather than so because I worked on my own and at the time my husband wasn't working at home, I felt quite lonely as well. So by having like a companion where you can open a page and read something inspirational, I thought could help many people. So I set to design it and then I did. So I created a monthly theme and also something to help you reach your big goals for the year. So the themes are creativity, reaching your goals, looking into yourself to find your why. Something like be adventurous and explore new things. Reflecting back because sometimes we don't see what we've done and we've achieved a lot and we don't really look, and celebrating your wins, looking after yourself, that kind of thing. And then
sounds great.
Yeah, so for every theme you get an exercise with a bit of creativity. So for example, we open up with talking about creativity, and then the first exercise is draw with your eyes closed or without looking at the page, so that you let your brain go and explore and be, like a kid that doesn't care about, because when we get to be adults, we get really hung up in doing the thing that we need, that is right. Whereas when you're a child, you just do whatever you want and you express and you don't care. So that exercise was connected to that. And then I'm talking about that. And then say another exercise is about inspiration. So there's like tips of how to get inspired and how to look that sometimes you have to go consciously and look for inspiration. So, and then there's like a coloring in that one. And there's another exercise about creating a vision board for the year. There's another one about looking after yourself. And the why one is also like writing down, trying to find out why you're doing things and what you want to do.
Yeah.
So like lots of things.
Sorry. That kind of the why thing is really important, I think, because it helps every decision or time you devote to things. If you're conscious of the why regularly, it'll lead to doing the right things in the long run. Whereas if you forget that for a month, you can just totally go off track. So like it's really useful to have that.
Yeah. So all the exercises you can go back and do all month or all the time, or you can go. So with a planner, we also did a dateless. So you can go back in, if you don't use it for, say, a month, you can go back to your monthly, to that month and fill in your pages, and you can basically use it all year round.
Nice.
And then there's a quote next to, so I'll show you. There's, so say the page has the text.
Wow.
It's like the monthly theme.
Yeah.
Then there's an image that you can tear out. So one of our prints.
So you get free prints almost with the planner. This is great. You can hang them up.
Yeah, they're mini prints. And then you get a quote. So for example, this one says, "The mind is everything, what you think you become."
Yeah.
And then so you can frame the quote or the image.
Or the print.
Nice. That's really good idea.
And then this one is all about making magic and making, like stating what you want to achieve and what you want to do. And this is talking about how, sometimes when we write things, we actually do it, and it cements your mindset. Yeah. So I say that, you have to write like 50 things or 100 things that you want. And so, it sets you up for the month and the year.
Just a note on our sponsors who brought you this podcast. MYO Make Your Own runs over 14 different arts and crafts workshops, both online and offline. We also make creative how-to content for brands.
Check out @MYO London for more details. Creative Jungle Company produces lots of creative kits for friends, families, companies and events. This podcast and also shares lots of learnings on creativity and creative thinking and how they could be helpful for you. Check out creativejunglecompany.com for more details on that.
Back to the podcast.
So I was really proud of making that because it seemed like a big mountain to climb. And then when it was finally here, and then it was obviously, we did a Kickstarter campaign for it. So we raised the money that we needed. And it was very exciting.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it was very exciting to go through that process and see what the reception was before it was actually out.
Yeah.
Actually, I know this is a bit off track, but just on the Kickstarter, because I had seen it at the time, but I totally forgot about it. What was that process like briefly? Did that allow you to have more creative freedom because you knew it would be paid for at the end? Or how did you find that whole process? Or was it a major faff to get lots of people to sign up?
I think the Kickstarter was to raise the money needed to make 1,000, because you can't print a book like this in lower quantities because it would just be super expensive. So I had like half of my audience at the time. So that was one factor. And by doing a Kickstarter, you have like, we set up 25 days to get to our target. And if you don't get to your target, you don't get any money. So this is what I kept telling people. And
you don't get any money at all?
No, because Kickstarter is all or nothing. So say you set up a target of 5,000 and you get to 4,800, you don't get the money. Yeah. But if you get 5,001, then anything after that, you get all of it. Yeah. I mean, well, with after their commission, but But what it allows you is to reach people through Kickstarter, but also allows you to talk about it every day.
Yeah.
And we were telling people, okay, we've reached 2,000, we've reached 2,100. And I was putting it on stories all the time. And you obviously give people a better deal for the Kickstarter. And then after that, when you make your product, then it comes to the market at a different price, at a higher price, and without all the So some people were pledging, for one planner and a print, and that would be like less than what a planner costs now.
Yeah.
So allow us to be really excited about us and like excite people about it. And lots of people I had like someone ordering 8 planners or 5 planners. We even had Pinterest bought. I know, but this was after the Kickstarter, I think.
Wow.
But yeah, we had a lot of support. I felt like, a lot of people that I had met in events that I didn't even think, that they would support me. They supported us. I think everyone is really excited that you need to get to the target.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
So I think that helps. Plus, obviously, we made a really cool video to show everything about the planner. I don't know if you saw it. It's on my Kickstarter page.
Oh,
but it was a cool video with music and illustrations and
like a rock star.
Sorry?
Like a rock star.
Sort of. Have a look and let me know what you think.
Yeah,
it's quite fun. It's quite short, but really fun. And it's not like your typical. Normally in Kickstarter, you get someone talking about their project, but we did more of a. It was more of an illustrative video, so different.
Amazing.
And then, it took. Normally people plan Kickstarters for like 6 months. We did it in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So not much pre-launch, not much. So it was.
You just went for it.
It was hardcore, yeah.
Yeah.
And and it was quite, like all along we were like creating things for it, and I released the 3rd cover because of the Kickstarter.
Nice.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you really well. And going from that, then speaking about planning, the business side of things and the admin side of things, how have you found that with Doodle Moo and growing Doodle Moo? What tips do you have for other people who are listening on growing their business, growing their creative business?
I think the admin side, I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like a natural planner or a spreadsheet person or accounts. So my husband does the accounts with me, usually because I start like almost crying that I have to make them. Like, I need help. I need you to put it in.
Yeah.
Like spreadsheets give me a bit of a stress level. But I've now joined Starling Bank, and it's so good. It's like the app is so easy. You can attach your receipts. You have like a business tool thing. I can make my invoices from there. So and I can see clearly what I'm spending and what I'm not.
Yeah.
So that's made it a lot happier for me to do that account side. And growing in terms of growing and investing, you mean? So I've been always a bit I've been trying to do non-risky investments. So for example, when we did the planner, we already had raised that money for the initial investment. Say for creating my small products, I've always made them in smaller quantities. The prints are made on demand, so I don't have lots of dead stock. So everything has been a bit cautiously done. So I've grown slowly with what I can. So I haven't gone crazy and invested millions. And it's always been like self-investment. And like, for example, now I've launched a new calendar based on the Creative Planner, and we're doing a pre-order. So again, we can raise that money before and also get people warm up with a product. Because again, that's something that I have to make a big quantities of.
Yeah.
And I'm growing in terms of like social media, or mostly
growing in terms of social media as well, and sales.
So social media and sales is basically building a community around your business, building like for example in Instagram, I try to be really true about what we do, and have a combination of like sales with other topics, because I feel like obviously people don't want to be sold to all the time. So I like to have more of a kind of like a sort of like a relationship with the people, that the following, and I'm building like an honest following from that. And but apart from that, like joining events, like last year and the year before I went to so many live events. I joined like groups, online groups and offline groups, and I made sure I went to things and met people in person, and that really helped when I was doing the Kickstarter as well, because I could contact a lot of people, and I went to a few events to talk about the planner myself. So building relationships, I think, is really important. Because for a few years I was like, how do you build a business? Like, I don't even know, I didn't have any background on growing or marketing or anything like that. So I did a course on business for creative moms quite early on, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Because I was thinking, because I was convinced I wasn't a business person. So I needed to have that kind of like reassurance that I could do it. So it's been like a process of finding lots of different things, like learning about PR, learning about how to market yourself. I listened to lots of webinars on how to grow my Instagram. Just all the things that you can try to learn more, I guess.
This is awesome. So if I summarize, talking about learning, continuous learning. I think that's one thing you realize very quickly, that running a business, that you don't like learn and then do. You have to do and learn continuously.
It's a continuous learning.
Surrounding yourself with people is just so important. And
and like-minded people as well.
Like-minded people who are trying to do the same or similar things. Because I think that pushes you. I mean, again, we've definitely found that when you're just feeling like you're the only one stuck in your hole, and then you meet other people and they can help lift you out or give you a new idea, or, as you said, support your Kickstarter campaign. I think, that's just two amazing tips. I
was going to say, I think a lot of creatives that don't kind of take it to the next level a bit, they focus too much on the making side, which is really enjoyable, but it's kind of, there is other things that just have to be done, even if you might not enjoy them. For example, I'm not a massive fan of networking. I'm awkward, but I know I have to do it because it's good and it might spark opportunities, and when things come in, so it's like you kind of have to do both. It doesn't have to be that you go to the extreme and do loads of business stuff all of a sudden, but kind of just having a balance of kind of looking outside and seeing what other things you can be involved in, I think can be really helpful, because otherwise, and it's just interesting for people to see that progression as well, if you're sharing things on social media, events and...
for a long time I thought creatives didn't go with like business stuff, and I thought, I also thought that, if you were good, you would be discovered and you didn't have to work for it. And it's all not true, because if you're coming from, say, nowhere and starting from zero, then you need to shout about yourself and learn how to shout about yourself in a nice way. And basically, there's a lot of work that involves getting out there and doing basically, I used to feel like marketing was evil, but actually afterwards I learned that marketing is just shouting about yourself and letting people know what you are about and what you do and where to find your things. And so now I sometimes don't have enough time to create, I guess. So I have to divide my time. And also one tip I got given is that 40% of your activities on a business is marketing. So if you think that 40% is marketing and then you need about 10% for like accounts, then that leaves you with only 50% to make.
And
then you have to do all the other admin stuff. Sometimes I sit here and I'm like, okay, now I'm going to design something. And then I get 5 emails. I think, oh, I have to order this, I have to do that, I have to do that. And then, that day is gone. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't do what I set out to do. So so you have to make time as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great little nugget. 40% of your business activity is marketing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it can be fun marketing. As in, like, for example, people say, "Oh, how can I automate my Instagram so that I don't spend time on it?" And it's like, but this is a free marketing tool that you can, spend some time in it. In a nice way, have fun with it, and it will bring you results. So, obviously, don't waste time, but it's part of your marketing strategy. So you should spend time on it.
Yeah,
or Twitter or whatever you're doing on your marketing.
Yeah,
but
I think that percentage you gave is really good and useful, especially for people listening. To just once it's like 40% marketing, 10% admin, 50. You just go into a week expecting that to happen, and you'll make sure that it happens rather than, oh no, now I have to do some marketing, and there's a negative sentiment towards it. Whereas if you just go, I just have to do 40%, and that'll allow me more time in the future to create and grow the business. You go into it with a positive mindset, and you'll do a better job, I guess, because of that.
Definitely. Yeah. And with all of this, what are you most proud of? What's the thing you're most proud of?
I guess I'm proud of a few things. I'm proud of the planner. Like, actually, I'm not a writer, and writing 12 monthly pages for it was quite hard.
Yeah.
I got a lot of help from my husband, but and a lot of input. But that was it was quite a big project and so many decisions. So to have it out there in the world, and we got an order recently for 100 planners.
Wow!
So that's the most. Thank you. That's the most that someone has ordered in one go.
Is this for a company?
Yeah, I think it's for a shop. I mean, they didn't. It's like it's a wholesaler, so
brilliant.
They ordered 30 something of each.
Yeah.
So that's a really proud thing, and being on the TV shows was a really proud pinch me moment.
Yeah.
Not me particularly, but the prints.
Yeah, but
on TV. And I'm being featured on Stylist magazine, the Style List, which was my favorite list. I've been featured there 3 times, so that's quite a big thing for me.
Yeah, definitely. And I can imagine that drives a lot of, it's like your target audience, bang on, seeing what you do. That's brilliant.
And it's good for visibility, and it's good to be appreciated by, unestablished.
Yeah.
So last year we were in The Circle, the TV show. 13 prints were there. So that was quite a big thing to see it on TV. It was
brilliant. I hope you took loads of pictures of the screen.
Yeah, I've got lots of screenshots.
That's me.
Did you have to make specific prints, or did they use existing ones that you had?
They contacted me to buy a few prints, and I said, yeah, I gave them a discount because they bought so many, and they chose from my selection. And the same with tattoo fixers. They bought 6 and they chose the ones they liked, and I sent them to them.
Amazing.
And that was a really nice thing, because they came to me through Instagram. So it was actually, when tattoo fixers contacted me, I didn't even know the program existed.
Yeah.
And I was a bit like, I thought someone was taking the piss. like, what the hell is this? And then I went to research what the program was, asked a few people, and everyone was like, yeah, that's my guilty pleasure. It's such a cool program. And it's got quite a cool, I don't know if you've watched it, but
I've seen a couple.
Yeah, when the people first come in, there's like a room where you're sitting down.
Yeah.
The tattoo guys and the client, that people that want to have the tattoos made, and it's a very beautiful sitting room area. Entrance. So that's where the prints were.
Amazing.
So that was. When they bought the prints, they launched the program, like, say they bought it in September, October, and then it came out in February, I think. And I started to get messages like, your prints are on TV. And I'm like, where? What channel? Like, I have this.
Amazing.
So I haven't even, like, I kind of not forgot about it, but I didn't know the exact date. So I kind of like let it. Yeah. And then I started when I was so excited.
Awesome.
I was like, I was telling my kids we're on TV.
Oh, that's so bad. They were so excited.
Yeah.
Mom's work is on TV.
It's kind of things like that tend to happen every few months, I think, in a creative business that just makes you go, this is why I do it. Just opportunities just pop in, or big order, and all the late nights, which I'm sure you put in, kind of go, this is why I do it.
Definitely.
So, no, that's really good.
Yeah.
Awesome. And now
it's a bit, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was
you go.
Sorry. I was going to say the bonus question. Shoot to a bonus question. What, if you had to only recommend 3 books or podcasts or articles that have had an amazing impact on you, what would you recommend?
I think podcasts.
Yeah.
I used to listen to Sarah Tasker. Do you know?
Okay. No.
From Me and Orla, she's got lots of tips on how to talk to your audience on Instagram, on all sorts. She interviews lots of cool people and has a very lovely, soothing voice.
Nice.
So I think for maybe for a few years, I was listening to her podcast a lot.
Yeah.
Girl Boss podcast is really cool because it's like really powerful women that sometimes self-made. And you know the Sofia Amoruso from Girl Boss, she was totally self-made. Yeah, how she created her empire, so she's very inspiring.
Nice.
And, I love listening to that. And How I Built This from Guy Raz that we were talking about. It's such a cool. I love the way he asks the questions and how he gets everyone to talk like really honestly about
openly,
how they've created the businesses. So that's really good.
Amazing.
So I would recommend those 3.
Yeah. They're brilliant. How I Built This is literally like our podcast Bible. It's just it's amazing hearing people, the founders of massive businesses talk very openly and honestly about things that happen and things that you don't hear about happening.
Exactly. Like I love when he has a way of getting out the information, as in like how much money people have lost at the beginning, which is like nobody talks about. Yeah. And you're like, oh my God, he lost that much money. I can't believe it. So you can recover. That's cool. Yeah, it makes you feel really like hopeful that what you're doing is not crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt.
No, that sounds good. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. So I guess kind of finishing up the podcast. This has been lovely. So again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's been really fun.
What's next for you, I guess, is the main one part of the 2-part question. So what's next for you, and how can people connect with you on your website, on your Instagram, or whatever channel?
Okay. So what's next? I'm launching the calendar now. So it's a calendar, A3 calendar, 1 page for every month, so you can display them all like art in your walls, or you can display one by one. Again, it's based on the planner, so it has a quote every month, it has a space to plan, but also an image and hopefully inspirational. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. And I'm planning maybe to launch some candles. Ooh. I don't want to say because I'm in the middle of planning it, but I don't know. I don't have a definite what's next, but
that's okay. You've loads of products and things already, and so it's fine.
Exhibition in China soon as well.
Oh yeah, exhibition in China. I was invited to that, so hopefully that will be. So I was actually wanting to go, but because of the whole COVID and it's a bit of a difficult time. So I think I'm going to stay here, but I'll probably get nice photos from it. So it's great.
Oh, brilliant. Nice. That'll be amazing.
Hopefully they will like my stuff. Yes. so it's a lady that represents people in Paris, in France and British. And we have the stands in this kind of craft design event in China, and it's like 5 days and 5 days. So
wow, amazing! Gosh, can't wait to see the pictures of that. I'm remotely managing an exhibition. And in terms of your contact details and your website.
Oh yeah, so my website is doodlemoo.com, and I am mostly on Instagram, so you can chat to me on Instagram most of the day. So I'm always answering my DMs and talking to people.
Perfect. And that's at Doodle Moo.
Yeah, it's Doodle
underscore Moo. Yeah.
Oh, at Doodle underscore Moo.
I was just going to say,
and I do a bit of Twitter, but not much Twitter. Sorry.
No. Sorry, I was just going to say, if you're listening and do nothing else apart from just go on Instagram and check it out, because Emily has nailed Instagram, whatever formula she's using or whatever she's doing behind the scenes. It's so cohesive and slick and nice, and really shows her personality and her work.
It's
so
beautiful to look
definitely
at.
check it out.
Thank you. Yeah, no, my Instagram is quite sacred. It's like the place that I love, because I guess it's so visual and such a nice community as well.
Yeah.
Like everyone is so supportive and lovely. So like, I don't know if you saw my post about my dog, and I got so many replies.
No.
So I don't know if I can talk more, but we bought a dog, like a puppy, a few months ago, and it turns out that the people lied to us, and we thought we were getting a Jack Russell, and Enzo has been growing too much, and he's clearly not a Jack Russell. We're like, I know, it's a little crazy.
No. So
because I showed on my Instagram when we first got the puppy, and it was all so cute, and I said it was a Jack Russell, and then now he's so big. So I put another picture of him and me in my office, and I told everyone about what had happened. And I think people love to see the human side of things, you know?
Yeah.
And I got so many comments. So I think more comments than in any other post.
Oh.
And lovely comments, and people talking about, you know, like how cute he is, and that it doesn't matter, that he's not what we thought he was. And, you know, it's just like, so that's how I feel like that makes a extra connection with, you know, it's not all about my products or my brand. It's about a little bit about my life, and like sharing the human side of yourself.
Yeah.
And get people chatting to you back, you know?
Yeah. Amazing.
So yeah, I don't know why that came up.
I'm such a lovely photo as well. Thank you so much, Emily. It's been
thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, how did the podcast go? What did you learn? If you'd like to find out more, check out creativejunglecompany.com or at Creative Jungle Co. on Instagram. You'll see our creative kits, previous podcast episodes, and all our blogs on creativity and creative thinking. If you'd like to leave a review, we'd very much appreciate it, but we really hope you have a colourful and creative week.